You're listening to the Emotional Telepathy Show on the YouTube channel of Sunset Station. I always look forward to this time, and the anticipation of sharing these moments with all of you is truly exciting. So, a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today. This week's topic is something I think you'll find quite thought-provoking, and I sincerely hope you're all having a positive and productive week so far. Let's keep the atmosphere light, cheerful, and engaging. On the topic of keeping things fun and lighthearted, I was actually having a conversation with a close friend of mine. Earlier today, someone I consider almost like a younger sibling. I posed a rather playful question to them. Have you ever had the feeling that your very existence, your life, is even more basic, more rudimentary than a simple mobile device? Like, stripped down to the bare essentials, even more so than a basic phone. My friend, upon hearing this, paused for a moment, took a sip of their drink, and a look of genuine surprise and contemplation spread across their face. They then turned the question right back at me, asking for me to elaborate, to explain what I meant by that. This exchange really got me thinking, and I have a strong feeling that many of you in our audience might find yourselves relating to this idea. Let me break it down a bit further. It's something I often tell younger people, younger friends, and family to consider, how when your phone's battery is running low, it starts to act sluggish, slow, unresponsive. But then, as soon as you plug it in, connect it to a power source, and it starts charging back up, it's like it's brand new again, functioning at peak performance, right? Those newer generation phones are really quite remarkable at bouncing back, at recovering their full functionality once they're fully charged. Most of us use smartphones in our daily lives, don't we? We rely on these devices for years on end, and they generally perform quite well, quite reliably, but only under one crucial condition: that they have sufficient battery life, that they have power. This observation led me to reflect, and I shared this thought with my friend. Unlike a phone, unlike a device that can be simply plugged into a wall outlet, we human beings can't just plug ourselves in to recharge our own batteries. If something upsetting, something emotionally draining happened to you yesterday, for example, we can't just instantly, magically restore ourselves, both physically and emotionally, to a state of full charge. We can't just plug in and expect immediate, complete restoration. Some people, some individuals, have a remarkable capacity to bounce back quickly, to recover their energy and enthusiasm with relative ease. But others, unfortunately, struggle to see much improvement, much change in their energy levels, even after rest. Sometimes it feels like we, as human beings, aren't even as efficient, as effective, as our own mobile phones when it comes to recharging. This, of course, is just a thought experiment, a mental exercise, and there are certainly limitations, flaws, in this analogy if you want to nitpick. But it does raise a very interesting, very pertinent question. Where, then, do we actually recharge our energy? Where is it that we can find a true, complete restoration, a full charge, so to speak? Just like a phone reaching 100% battery power, it's something to really think about. Have you ever taken the time to ponder this question yourself? Have you ever actually set a specific goal in your life to figure out, to discover how to effectively recharge your own life, your own energy levels? Because sometimes life can feel incredibly exhausting, incredibly stressful, and you just don't know how to find that sense of renewal, how to recharge. People often suggest that traveling is a great way to recharge, to revitalize oneself, but I've personally experienced returning from trips feeling even more tired, more drained than before I left. And besides, if you travel too frequently, the experience loses some of its novelty, and the subsequent trips don't feel quite as exciting, quite as restorative anymore. Yeah, so people often say that taking naps is incredibly beneficial, that it's a great way to recharge, but that's not always the case, is it? Sometimes after taking a nap, you actually wake up feeling even more groggy, more sluggish than before. It's quite curious, quite perplexing how human beings actually recharge. It's certainly not as straightforward as plugging in a phone where it simply charges up completely, consistently. We recharge in a fundamentally different way. Are you at all curious, intrigued? about how that process actually works. Let me share some insights, some observations that I've gained from my own personal life and experiences. You'll notice that the act of charging your phone is quite similar to a certain action, a certain process. Just pay close attention to it. When your phone displays a low battery warning, you immediately know what it needs, right? It needs charging. So you simply plug it into a power source. That's a simple, straightforward action, and it effectively helps to restore your phone's power back to full capacity. But human beings, as we've discussed, are far more complex, far more nuanced than that. I've personally observed that we, as individuals, charge ourselves. We replenish our energy through our overall lifestyle, through the way we live our lives on a daily basis. How you feel, your overall sense of well-being, is heavily, significantly, influenced by how you choose to live your life, far more so than just a single action on any given day. You see, feeling truly happy or feeling truly energized isn't about accomplishing one specific task, one specific action today. It's the cumulative result, the culmination of a multitude of factors, of a multitude of choices and actions that you engage in over an extended period of time. Eventually, over time, you will reach a state of sustained high energy, a state of consistent vitality. Many people dream of this state, of waking up feeling truly energized, truly alive, even if they don't explicitly express this desire. I know many people, many individuals, who deeply wish they could wake up feeling refreshed, feeling invigorated, every single morning. I share this observation because I understand that many people, perhaps even some of you listening right now, often wake up feeling more tired, more fatigued than when they went to sleep. No matter how much sleep you get, no matter how many hours of rest you try to achieve, you still feel that lingering sense of tiredness, that lack of energy. And now the question becomes, how do we effectively recharge? How do we restore that lost energy? Many people resort to quick fixes, to temporary solutions, such as drinking copious amounts of coffee, relying heavily on certain types of supplements, but this can become problematic, even dangerous if overdone. In the end, we often discover that these quick fixes, these temporary solutions, simply don't work as effectively as we hoped, don't provide the sustained energy boost we were seeking. Those small, seemingly insignificant things that you do every single day, those daily habits, those daily choices that are supposed to help you recharge your energy, they simply don't cut it. They don't provide the desired effect. Time flies, it moves incredibly quickly, and it doesn't give you a chance to truly wake up feeling energized, feeling truly happy and content. So, what can we do about this? What steps can we take to address this issue? It truly boils down to your overall lifestyle, to the choices you make consistently over time. It depends on consistently making healthy food choices, ensuring you get enough quality sleep, actively working to keep your mind clear of negativity, of toxic information, and maintaining a consistent level of physical activity, not overexerting yourself, but engaging in regular, moderate exercise over an extended period. All of these factors, these elements come together, they blend together, they intertwine, and eventually you will begin to feel a noticeable difference, a significant improvement in your overall energy levels. Waking up and feeling truly energized, feeling truly alive is incredibly important. It's crucial for our overall well-being. Just remember, recharging yourself, restoring your energy, is not as simple, not as straightforward, as it may initially seem. It's a multifaceted process, a holistic process that requires consistent effort, unwavering determination, and unwavering perseverance. But trust me, the results, the rewards are truly amazing, truly life-changing. Some people wake up feeling tired, feeling drained, every single day of their lives because they simply haven't figured out how to effectively recharge, how to restore their energy levels. On the other hand, those individuals who have mastered the art of recharging, who have truly integrated these principles into their lifestyle, often wake up feeling about 90% refreshed, feeling about 90% charged, ready to take on the day. You can truly feel that difference, that surge of energy, that renewed sense of vitality. It's incredibly important to feel good about yourself, to feel strong, to feel confident in your own abilities. It's a truly empowering feeling. It's like charging a high-capacity battery once and having that charge last for an extended period for a very long time. Have you ever noticed those individuals, those people, often in their 60s, 70s, and even beyond, who don't really show any signs of aging, who are still incredibly fit, incredibly active, incredibly vibrant? You encounter these individuals when you travel, and they're not as rare as you might think. They understand the importance of recharging. They understand the importance of living a fulfilling life. There's no magic pill, no quick fix, for achieving this state of well-being. It's all about your overall lifestyle, the choices you make consistently over time. So, what I truly desire, what I truly hope, is for everyone to understand this fundamental principle, to grasp the significance of this concept. Think deeply about how we can discover ways to truly hack life, to optimize our lives for maximum happiness, for maximum fulfillment. We need to approach this with a mindset, with a philosophy, with a lifestyle that is solid, that is sustainable, that will stay with us for the long haul. That deep sense of relaxation, that profound sense of peace and contentment that comes from living this way, creates an incredibly powerful, incredibly positive vibe. That's the true peak of feeling good, of experiencing true well-being. All those short-term fixes, those fleeting pleasures, simply don't provide the same level of sustained happiness, the same level of lasting fulfillment. I'm telling you, no matter how great your mornings may seem, no matter how much you enjoy that initial burst of energy, no matter how much coffee you drink, no matter how many energy drinks you consume, you will never be as truly happy, as truly fulfilled, as someone who is living a truly fulfilling life, a life aligned with their values and priorities. So if you're dreaming of that kind of deep, lasting happiness, if you're yearning for that sense of true fulfillment, you might hear people say things like, "Oh, I'm so miserable," or "Why is my life so hard?" Many people, a significant number of individuals, are genuinely struggling, whether it's with their relationships, their careers, or other personal challenges, and they're often quite confused, quite lost, about how to improve their situation. Typically, their initial approach, their instinctive response, is to seek immediate action, to look for something to do, something to distract them from their unhappiness. How about we go shopping? Let's head to the supermarket. I've got my credit card, swipe, swipe, swipe. I've been eyeing this shirt for a while, and these shoes too. And look, they're on sale now. Let's buy them, right? People often choose to do that, to engage in these types of impulsive purchases, but does it truly bring lasting happiness? Not really. It's not just about the immediate experience, the immediate gratification. There's a whole psychological and behavioral science behind it. These feelings, these fleeting moments of joy, simply don't last very long. People are constantly searching for something to do, something to distract them, something to fill the void. Because life can feel so incredibly boring, so incredibly monotonous. Work can be incredibly stressful, filled with drama, with conflicts with your boss, with colleagues, with all sorts of interpersonal challenges, right? So the typical response is, let's all go out for drinks tonight. Let's have a big meal and just relax, unwind. When we first start eating, when we first start indulging, it feels great, it feels pleasurable, but after a while you start to feel full, you start to feel uncomfortable. If you continue to eat beyond that point, beyond your body's natural satiation point, it becomes overwhelming, especially at a buffet. You end up feeling quite sick, quite unwell, if you push yourself too far. It's like they're worried that if they indulge in all the sweets, all the desserts, the next time, it will be the same story again. Charging your phone in the same way repeatedly doesn't really work in the long run. A few days later, you're back to the same low battery situation. You have to repeat the entire charging process all over again. The frustrating part is that you still feel stuck. You still feel like you haven't made any real progress. So it's absolutely worth questioning the methods you're currently using, the strategies you're employing. You need to take a step back, You need to reevaluate your approach. Some people turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms, to substances like cigarettes or alcohol, which are clearly not beneficial for their overall well-being. You've probably noticed that today you're trying this particular method, this particular approach, but then tomorrow you're back to the same old routine, the same old patterns of behavior. If you still feel miserable, if you still feel unhappy, the next time you try to address these feelings, it means that most of the time, you're dealing with something negative, something that's draining your energy, that's pulling you down. You really need to question your approach, your mindset, because I can tell you with absolute certainty, those methods, those quick fixes, those temporary distractions simply don't work in the long run. We've all been there, we've all tried those things, and we know firsthand that they don't provide lasting happiness, lasting fulfillment. I truly believe that if you truly desire deep, lasting happiness, a sense of fulfillment that nothing can take away from your life, it has to come from your overall lifestyle, from the choices you make consistently over time. Let me emphasize that point once again. Hey, prioritize sleep, stay active, right? You've got to manage your mind. You've got to learn to control your thoughts, to not let your mind get bogged down, overwhelmed with all the unnecessary nonsense, all that negativity that stirs up feelings of anger, feelings of unhappiness, those chaotic behaviors, those destructive patterns, I'm someone who truly believes in peace, who deeply values tranquility. So I personally don't enjoy arguing. I don't seek out conflict. Even though I can be quite assertive, quite direct in a professional setting. In a meeting, for example, I still strive to maintain a calm and composed demeanor. I still try to keep it cool, to keep things civil. I simply want to talk things out, to engage in constructive dialogue, to argue in a way that's aimed at solving the issue, at finding a resolution, for the greater good, for the benefit of everyone involved. But when it comes to my personal life, when it comes to my personal relationships, I'm not at all interested in conflict. I actively avoid it. I dislike drama. I dislike unnecessary tension. Even though I've mentioned to you all before that simply being a good person, simply having good intentions, isn't always enough. You also need to be strong. You also need to be resilient. You also need to be able to stand up for yourself. That means I have all the necessary tools for self-defense, for protecting myself if needed, but fundamentally, in my actions, in my behavior, I always aim for love. I always aim for respect. I always aim for kindness. It's all about being gentle with each other, about treating each other with compassion, with understanding, Even when I'm stuck in traffic after a long day of work, when I'm feeling tired and frustrated, I really don't want to honk my horn anymore. When I'm out on my bike, especially around 5 or 6 p.m. during rush hour, I always have this little mantra in my head, this little reminder that I repeat to myself, reminding myself not to honk, reminding myself to stay calm. Because honestly, honking doesn't really make you go any faster. It doesn't actually improve the traffic situation, and it just startles people. It just creates unnecessary noise. It just annoys everyone around you. It contributes to that negative atmosphere. It's like blasting that negative energy out into the world, right? You never truly know who might hear that horn, who might be affected by that sudden, jarring noise. It could be a pregnant woman. It could be someone who's already feeling down, someone who's already struggling with their own challenges. It could really startle them. It could really upset them, I just think it's incredibly inconsiderate. It's lacking in empathy. So I actively avoid using horns in that way. I try to be mindful of the impact my actions might have on others. I'm not trying to preach. I'm not trying to lecture anyone, so please don't misunderstand me. I'm simply sharing that this is the kind of lifestyle I strive for. This is the kind of approach I try to maintain. It helps me keep my behavior stable. It helps me keep my mindset balanced, so I don't get all worked up, so I don't become overwhelmed by stress and frustration. I'm not affected by it. I'm not suffering because of how I choose to live my life, because of the principles I adhere to, Of course, everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own timeline for self-improvement, for personal growth. Nobody is born perfect. Nobody starts out as an expert. Nobody's instantly great at everything. We all have our flaws. We all have our weaknesses. We all make mistakes. Honestly, sometimes people tend to idolize me too much. They place me on too high a pedestal. And that actually freaks me out a little bit. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone does stupid things. Everyone has moments they're not proud of. The important part, the crucial aspect, is owning up to your mistakes, taking responsibility for your actions, and actively working on yourself, striving to become a better version of yourself, right? So, I'm just like that too. I'm on that same journey. I've also been through a long and challenging journey of learning, of self-discovery, of personal growth. Honestly, I see myself as a student, not as a teacher, not as an expert. I have a deep love for learning. I have a genuine thirst for knowledge because I constantly notice so many mistakes I make, so many areas where I can improve, so many things I can learn. I recognize that I still have so much potential to grow, so much room for development, and that's precisely why I'm so eager to learn, why I'm so open to new experiences and new perspectives. When I truly realize that if I can take those lessons, those experiences, and integrate them into my way of life, if I can internalize those lessons and make them a part of who I am, I'll be the one who benefits the most. I'll be the one who reaps the greatest rewards, right? It really drains your energy. It truly depletes your vitality when you allow yourself to get angry, when you give in to those negative emotions, because those negative behaviors, those destructive patterns, truly suck the life out of you. They drain your battery. They deplete your energy reserves. Honestly, it's like playing with fire. You're already struggling. You're already facing challenges, yet you go and create even more problems. You add fuel to the fire, which only serves to drain your battery even further, to deplete your energy even more rapidly. So just to lighten things up a bit, to introduce a bit of levity, I've noticed some of you leaving rather harsh comments on my clips, on my videos. They can be quite intense, quite critical, you know? Honestly, it's a pretty harsh term, but when I think about it, when I reflect on it, I notice some signs of attacks, some indications of hostile behavior after scrolling through a few times. So I initially hid my posts. I made them invisible to the public. But after hiding them, after taking that initial action, I wanted to reflect on it a bit more deeply. I wondered if you sit there, if you take the time, if you expend the energy to think about and type out those lines, those harsh criticisms, those negative comments, are you simply consuming that negativity? Are you both taking it in, absorbing it, and simultaneously producing those nasty, bitter comments, those hurtful words? So, is that truly beneficial? Is that a healthy practice? I mean, if it becomes a lifestyle, if it becomes a habitual pattern of behavior, could it potentially be dangerous for our blood pressure, for our heart rate, for our overall health and well-being? Because if we know just a little bit about basic biology, about how our bodies function, when we get angry, when we clench our jaws, when we curse someone, when we harbor those negative feelings, our body releases a cascade of neurotransmitters, of chemicals, of hormones, and all that complex stuff, which can ultimately lead to inflammation throughout the body. Guys, it causes inflammation, and from that inflammation, a whole host of diseases. A whole range of health problems can potentially arise. Please, I urge you, don't let it turn into that. Don't let it become a destructive habit that negatively impacts your health. It's all about living your life in a balanced, healthy way, because that kind of negativity, that kind of constant anger and resentment, it might not be good for you. It might be detrimental to your well-being. Some of you might hear me say something that goes against your own personal beliefs. That contradicts your own experiences, that clashes with your own worldview. If that's the case, if that happens, and you accidentally hear me say something that you disagree with, I sincerely apologize. I completely respect your views. I completely respect your right to hold different opinions. And if you disagree with me, if you don't see things the same way I do, or even if you simply dislike me as a person, that's perfectly fine. Love or hate, agreement or disagreement, is simply a part of life. It's a natural human experience. All I'm trying to convey is that it's... Okay, if you don't agree with me, that's all I really care about. That's the main point I want to emphasize. I'm just thinking, you guys don't make that negativity, that anger, that resentment your way of life. Seriously, I spend time with doctors. I know them personally. I have conversations with them quite frequently, and they have confirmed this. That kind of mindset, that kind of consistent negativity can really affect you. It can have a profound impact on your physical and mental health. I genuinely don't want anything negative for anyone, even for people who don't particularly like me. I'm being completely honest here. There's no pretense, no hidden agenda. So it's quite rare for me to dedicate this much time, this much attention to people who don't have positive feelings towards me, but I feel like some of you might even hate me. You might harbor strong negative feelings towards me, but I certainly don't hate you. I don't harbor any ill will towards you, right? So I want to share something that might be helpful, something that might offer a different perspective, something that might be beneficial for you to consider. I sincerely hope good things come your way. I sincerely hope you experience positive things in your life so you can truly understand. So you can truly internalize the idea that it's perfectly okay not to like someone. It's perfectly acceptable to disagree with someone, to have different opinions. But don't overthink it. Don't dwell on it excessively. And certainly don't spread harmful messages. Don't engage in negativity. Don't contribute to that toxic environment. That kind of behavior can really hurt you. It can have a significant impact on your own well-being, you know? Alright, that's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. So, this entire piece today, this entire discussion is really about my feelings, about my perspective, about the things I've been reflecting on, right? In the end, as I conclude this message, I just want to express that having all of you here, connecting with all of you means a great deal to me. One of the biggest things for me, one of my core values, is wanting to be helpful, wanting to offer support, wanting to show love and compassion. And if you can feel that, if you can sense that genuine intention, then I'm truly happy. I'm truly fulfilled. I sincerely hope that by the end of today's broadcast, all of you can feel that positive energy, that sense of connection, that feeling of being supported. Finally, I wish everyone good health, both physical and mental. And I remind you once again to explore different ways to recharge your energy, to find those sustainable methods of self-care, such as through conscious lifestyle choices, through cultivating healthy habits, through prioritizing your well-being. Alright, goodbye for now. Hey everyone, see you in the next video. You've just finished watching the show. To check out other episodes, to explore more of our content, please click on the playlist icon that's displayed on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us.